Hello, hi, my name is Jess Marie. Welcome back to Yesterday's Coffee Grounds, where I typically talk about things that I've learned over my life, things that happened yesterday, or that I'm maybe waiting to happen tomorrow. I don't know. Do I ever talk about that? Possibly in the future. We'll see. It is currently 11:15-ish, in that time range. My toddler just went to bed. We usually don't have this late of nights. Usually he's been in bed at like 8:30, sometimes 9, so it's definitely a later night. And that's kind of where we're at. After this, I'm gonna throw on a face mask. I got my hot lemon water and cinnamon and maple syrup because, I want to have yellow pea in the morning. So that's where we're at currently. Today this was an unbelievable thing that I never even considered, and it was just beautiful to experience. So in our yard we had there's a plum tree and one cedar tree. We have yellow cedars kind of lining the whole perimeter of the yard, and there's one of them that's right by the fire pit, and it kind of hoods over, so when a fire is going, all that smoke goes up to this hood and comes down. So we ended up falling the plum tree because, one, it doesn't really produce, and it's a bear attractant, so it produces, but the plums aren't the best. And we also have flies that lay eggs in. There's also a cherry tree, and you can't eat the cherries because there's flies that lay eggs in them, and then there's larvae all in them, and it's kind of gross. Especially if you've eaten a couple cherries and then find this out. But the plums and the cherries, they're just bear attractants. Cherries too big to fall, so we fell the plum tree and then this yellow cedar tree. And like I love stuff like this, where cedar, because it's a communicator. It's a very special kind of tree. Cedar, I actually wanted to name our first child boy or girl Cedar. That was my top name, Cedar Rain, boy or girl. A couple other names, obviously we didn't go with Cedar, but I love that name so much, and I am determined to have a child named Cedar at one point for the rest of my life. But yeah, cedar is just amazing because it's so strong, it's resilient, it's weather resistant. It is such a versatile wood. It's calming, it's cleansing for energy blockers. So I collected a lot of the sawdust after the tree was cut, and then it started to rain. Collected some of the boughs to hang up in the door frames, and yeah, the sawdust for burning. And after the tree was cut, Levon and I, we were up on the porch on the balcony, and we were watching because it's pretty loud for him and it's in the back of the yard. So we were watching and everything, and we walk over and we're in bare feet and feeling like the grass and everything, walking up to this tree and then climbing up on the tree. This is like my first instinct. I grew up around trees, in trees. I am a monkey at heart. When I first moved to town, actually, I basically lived in a tree fort all summer. If I wasn't working or hanging out with people, I was in my tree fort. That was my place. And yeah, once this tree fell, I stood on it, and it was like this rush of energy, and I was blown away. And I was actually kind of concerned because Levon started climbing up there barefoot as well. I'm like, is this positive energy or negative energy? What energy is the tree holding? So I did just a quick Google search. I didn't go digging into the realm of what kinds of receptors that trees have, but I was like, do trees hold adrenaline, or do they have that impulse within their system to hold that? Because trees hold carbon dioxide in them, and when a tree is cut, that is released. So I'm like, am I just taking in CO2? Is that what's happening right now? Or am I taking in the memories and the healing, the cleaning power of the tree? I don't know if I'm speaking about cedars how everyone else would speak about cedars, but am I taking in that restorative energy, that also restorative energy? Am I taking that in because the impulse that I felt standing on this freshly cut yellow cedar was unbelievable. And I'm feeling it go up through my legs, and it didn't make it up to my heart brain area, but I could feel this energy going up and down halfway through my body, and I was blown away how amazing it is. And then I just kind of wonder, there was one time Rob and I, we were on a road trip, and we got asked if we were on mushrooms because we got on this crazy topic of does a tree know when it's being cut? Does it have that awareness? Because it's all connected, right? You think of the root system, and it's connected to all the animals, or I guess, yeah, sure, some of the animals, if there's burrowing animals, the bugs, the creatures that live below, it's all connected. The grass or bushes surrounding trees, any waters, underground water systems, and everything submits a frequency or vibration. So when a tree is being cut, you would imagine that through the root system, it is sending some kind of vibration. It's got to be sending some kind of vibrational energy to the surrounding plants, of potentially warning them or letting them know what's going on, passing on knowledge. These are all questions that we don't know. We can't necessarily, we can test, I could imagine that we could test vibrations being sent to other plants and how the frequencies change within the molecular structure of a plant. But the memories, the knowledge of that tree, can that be passed on? And that's something that I don't know if there's a person out there who could tell me about that, because I was in a state of shock that I didn't consider in that moment, like, I didn't meditate on it. I didn't stand there meditating because I'm blown away. I'm mesmerized that this is happening too. I have my small human, and there's all these branches and stuff everywhere because it's a hood, right? We're talking about a hooded tree. So there's kind of branches and stuff poking out. So number one priority, right, is his safety. And I stood there for maybe a minute or so, and I just had to step down because I was like, I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know what kind of energy was being transferred, and it's something that I should really meditate on. I should sit and spend some time thinking about it. I did a quick little journal entry, just kind of assessing what happened and reflecting on that. But it's something that's super interesting, that now whatever impulses that tree felt while being cut is now being transferred to all the other surrounding cedars. All the grass, we have a garden. I know we just moved, but there's a garden here with fruit and things to harvest. That would all be connected, even if it's in the far back. I think it's maybe like 0.25 of an acre, half an acre. So that's still, it's connected. If you think of everything as a root system connected, you have the roots of the cedar connecting through all the grass, all the clovers, plantain, dandelions, and it's like a synapse. It's a firing, and it's just something that's really interesting to think about. And just being barefoot, a part of that, is amazing. And I guess I'm just thinking about it a little bit too hard, but that's who I am. I think things like this are amazing when we get to connect with nature on such a raw level. And barefoot, you could read articles on forest showers and spending time barefoot out in nature and what it does for calming the nervous system. But we're not just talking about walking in nature or spending time in nature with the sounds and the content frequency of it, things working in harmony. We're talking about something that just lost its life essentially. And where does that energy go? Because it doesn't just disappear, right? It goes somewhere, it transfers. And I was a part of that. And my son, he was also a part of it. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing yet. I don't know. I don't know if, because I think, what is it called? It happens when you give birth as well. Oxytocin. I think when people die as well, they also release oxytocin in the body. I could be wrong about that. But if trees, I don't think, because they don't have the same glands as us to secrete hormones, but they would have to have something similar to that, right? They would have to have something similar, would they not? So when I looked up stuff about cutting trees, it just mostly talked about carbon dioxide release and like the harm of it, and when I tried searching up like, do trees release hormones similar to humans, it was mostly just what it does for humans when we connect with nature. So I'm like, do I need to do further research on this? Is there a book on this? How do I find out more? And that's kind of where I'm at today. So thank you for listening to my story and my thoughts and my interpretation on what happened today. But I'm definitely gonna go throw on a face mask. I have just a little bit left of my tea, my hot lemon water. Such a loser. I love being a loser. You know, like, you gotta be a nerd about something. You gotta be a nerd. You gotta have something that you're smart about, right? Right? On that note, wherever you are in the world, I hope it is wonderful. And if not, take your shoes off. Go walk in the grass and write some shit down, burn it if you need to, let it float down the river, whatever you gotta do. Because we all have bad moments in a day, but that doesn't mean the day is bad. So, on that note, bye!